Welcome to Booklandia, where we review romance novels.
This and every episode are chock full of oversharing and spoilers. Every episode is rated E for explicit.
Goodness, I'm gonna start talking this time while you push all the buttons.
That sounds amazing.
But is it distracting to you?
No, I'm totally fine.
Okay, great.
Hi,
Multitasking.
I'm Sky.
I'm 4.
And this is episode 4
Yes.
of Booklandia and Booklandia.
Booklandia.
We started drinking way before we started recording.
We do that all the time. Every time.
This episode is about Ashley Poston's The Dead Romantics.
Yes.
And
it's brought to you by alcohol. And antihistamines.
And so many antihistamines. Yes, before we get talking about The Dead Romantics, let's talk about antihistamines.
Okay.
I feel like it's just it's a preface to everything that is about to happen.
Okay.
Because I am not fully controlling my faculties. So I had a major sorry. See,
life
what's the
event?
word? Yes, a major life event. Well, I was looking for the word.
Allergic reaction.
Yes, I had. Sorry, there's a word for it. A
brain fart.
I'm having one of those right now. I had a major histamine event. I guess a major. No, there's a word for it. There's a word for it, and it's on my chart now because I definitely read it on my chart. Anyways, the point is, I turned into one continuous hive, head to toe, bright red, super awesome. Had to go to an allergy office, and they gave me enough antihistamines to make an elephant not allergic to the mouse. So,
Little Miss allergic to nothing now, superpower.
Yes, so that is great. However, if you've ever taken enough or too many antihistamines, you know that they have a tendency to slow your brain, to like remove your head from the rest of your body. So it's not that my brain is slow, it's that my brain is having a moment.
Sure.
A canon event, if you will.
Oh, my.
In which it is fully dislodged from the rest of me.
Excellent.
And periodically floats back down.
Ooh.
Just to have a conversation, and then up it goes again. So brain farts a many. Expect many.
Okay. Thank you for the preparation. What is not going to help is the fact that I probably smell like gasoline. Because the very lovely gas station attendant saw that the pump was leaking down the side of my car, and he grabbed it and pulled it out before it was stopped. And so just completely splashed me with gas. So we're going to get also high on fumes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So ready for it now.
So alcohol, antihistamines, and gasoline fumes.
Yes, also don't antihistamine and drive. Or don't antihistamine alcohol and drive.
But you just did that.
No, not with alcohol. I really want to make it clear.
The alcohol came after.
And then I will wait for an appropriate amount of time. You basically, my point is, use all of your drugs responsibly.
Please do. All right. So I believe we have an apology parade.
Oh, definite apology parade. So
cute. I missed you, apology parade.
Yes. Hello and welcome to the very first apology parade of this season.
Yes.
It has to do with something we said last week. Or last time.
Did I say it?
So you said you were trying to guess where Malawi was.
Sure.
And you guessed that it was in the South Pacific.
Sure.
And I did not correct you because I was like, that sounds probably correct.
I'm generally pretty good with geography.
So yeah, no, Malawi is not in the South Pacific at all. It is in East Africa.
No. Every time, and I'm playing like Worldle, and it's an African country. I never get it right.
Yes.
So this is absolutely on me, and I should have known.
Yes. So East Africa.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Deep apologies.
Yes. Yes. That is where Malawi is.
I'm sorry, you're not a tropical island.
I mean, that sounds weird. It's probably lovely in its own way. How about that?
I see, knowing 0% about Malawi, like where it is, you're probably accurately very correct.
So there we go.
So double apology
parade.
Yes.
Yes.
Should we talk about the book.
We should. Sorry, my brain was still on.
No, I'm just gonna lead this episode.
Please.
Now. Yeah. Okay.
So
right,
my
I'm
brain
the
was.
host. I've done it.
My brain was still on the thing that happened to me and what was written in my chart. Now I'm just stuck on that and I can't remember. So I guess it was Nope.
Don't keep going back to it. You're in a loop. You're stuck in a loop. Let's talk about the Dead Romantics because you made me read this book.
Yes, let's talk about the Dead Romantics. So here is the book.
You want me to hold it so you can?
Yeah, there we go. And then we're gonna replace it with this, like so. So the Dead Romantics is by Ashley Poston, who previous to this book, this is her first adult novel, I believe. Oh, I did promise I'd do research, and then major allergy event happened. So
look, I think by now people know they don't come here for facts or research.
Just opinions.
Opinions and histamine events.
So let's start with the cover. The cover is actually really clever. It's a pink background, and then it has the words "the dead" and "romantic" as two different levels, and she's laying on one of them on the top, and he's laying on the bottom, and then this copy.
They're both reading books.
Yeah. They're both reading books, and apparently this was a Good Morning America book club book. I did not know this.
Sure, it's also one of those stupid stickers you can't take off.
No, it's printed into it. Yeah, agreed. So
maybe wait for the mass market paperback if you hate those.
Yes, there's also I think a hardback that came out, and it's the opposite colors. Ooh. So it's in the cyan and not in the pink.
I really love a cyan, which is why we're friends.
Yes. Yeah, I see. If my hair was a different color, who knows?
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't remember the time when you were a redhead. I just blocked it out.
I promise it was for many years.
I know.
So I picked this book up at a used and new bookshop in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to, my God.
I can't help you with this because I understand. The last page.
The last page is exactly it. Yes.
Oh my God! I've never even been there. Wait,
hold on. The receipt is also in here.
No, that's for Worst Kuchen. Shout out to Worst Kuchen.
Okay, can't. Oh, that's true. Can't help you with that then. No, it is the last page. Yes, and they're very cool. They are used a new bookshop. They have a coffee bar and a bar in the middle of the bookstore.
Not a barber.
Not a barber, correct,
bar.
but a bar with beer and wine and food, and then a separate space where you can imbibe if you prefer, and internet. So I found them, and then I never left. And then at some point,
And then you were hauled out by the police.
I mean, at closing time. Closing time, yes, periodically. And I picked it up because it seemed... Oh, because actually someone in our book club had read it and told us about it.
Nice.
So I thought I'd try it. Before we get too far, let's tell the people what the book is about,
Great.
And then we can get into the how I almost put it down after the first 10%.
Great.
I wrote this one. Do you want to read it?
Absolutely.
All right. In that case, 3, 2, 1.
Florence Day, what a great name, is a secret ghostwriter for a world-renowned romance author who just met her new editor, Benji Andor, when she unexpectedly has to travel home to plan her father's funeral. While back in the small town Florence vowed to never return to, she is faced with the rumors from the past, the strange reality of having her editor, Ben, visit her as a ghost, and her father's very strange and specific instructions for his burial. In his mix of supernatural and sweet, Florence must process her feelings, learn to love openly yourself, and let go of the past. But what about Ben? Will he be left with ghosts at the end? Look at you rhyming. Bastard rhyming. Okay, so I'm going to start with content warning, death, because
I did not have content warning. Now, having said that, when you read the first 2% of the book, it is foreshadowed so heavily. Like when the canon event, when the major life-changing event happens.
We're just going to speak in Spider-Man movie.
I mean, it's begun. It's on social media now. Everybody refers to things as canon events now. And I was very excited that I knew that reference. because otherwise I'm an elderly person, according to the internet.
Yeah.
So I assumed from the title, and I knew because it's so heavily foreshadowed that the thing that propels her to go home is her father dying. And then it happens, and it smacked me so hard with all its feels that I stopped uncontrollably for a solid while, told you all about it for a solid while, and put the book down to like live in my feels for a bit. And I was like, I'm not sure I can go back to it because this was so powerfully, so close to the surface for me. It wasn't what happened to my parent in my grief, but it was similar enough, and it was sudden enough to where I really didn't think I was going to move past it. But what happened was I kept going about my day and thinking about these characters and wondering what happens next. And after like a day or two, I was like, now that I've read the most scary part, and it's not scary, it's traumatic. That's what I mean, a scary. Like now that I know that this is a thing that I got past, should I go back? And then I went back, and I'm so very glad I did because I really liked this book. I really did. But like, first 10% may have stopped me. And in the past, I have put books down specifically for this reason because I didn't think that the rest of the journey was worth the heartache that I would endure. The donut something. No, now I feel terrible.
Trap?
The donut
hole.
Definitely not whole, but like she's a baker and he's processing.
I think you read that one and I didn't.
Well, I didn't read it. I got through.
Oh, that's right.
I got to the part where he's processing the death of his mother, and then I couldn't get past it. Yeah. It's not the only one, but that one comes to mind right away.
Sure.
So, if it means anything, that even though it was hard, I really wanted to know these people more than I wanted to put the book down. Sure. And I went back and, so glad I did. I am so glad I did. Okay, but here's a very important question. So, there is a plot twist. There's a plot twist.
Canon event? No.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. Okay.
That was so self-evident to me, so early on, that I was just screaming it into the book.
Yeah.
And when it was finally revealed, I think it was supposed to be like an moment for everyone who was reading it. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, duh.
Okay.
We're finally here.
Yeah.
So my question is, did you have that? This is about Ben's status as a ghost.
Basically, the book was interesting until he became a ghost, and then it really sort of sat down in all of the, like, what it was going to be about. I didn't know. The answer is no. I didn't know. I didn't expect him to become a ghost. I wasn't really sure where it was going.
I don't mean the fact that he is a ghost, but the fact that he's actually not a ghost. Because he's not dead.
At the end. You're not talking about the plot twist at the beginning.
No,
because
he shows up. He's a ghost.
Oh.
But the fact that he's not a ghost.
Oh, I got like somewhere in the like 3/5 part. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's also a romance. Like, it has to have a happy ending. So either she's gonna the movie ghost it and like have sex with a ghost and figure that shit out, or he's gonna be fine. I don't know.
Yes.
So, or she's gonna die and they get to have ghost sex in the cemetery.
Right.
So, like, I wasn't worried about that part because it's still a romance.
Right. So, yeah, so I feel like it was the reveal of him being in a coma rather than being, spoiler alert.
You come here for spoilers, too. Right? We tell you.
Yes. So that to me wasn't a big surprise, but I feel like it was set up to have been a surprise. Like, there's a big reveal of her walking down the hallway and being distracted and then finally figuring it out. But it's just like, yeah, I know.
It's almost like it's Ashley Poston's version of a grand gesture. Right? So, like, it's not a true grand gesture because one isn't performing it for the other, but it is a big event that changes their whole status is in relationship. I mean, I liked at the end that they didn't immediately fall into each other's arms.
I did too.
That it took 3 months and he was like, did I dream it? Like, that was, I mean, anytime someone Bob Newhart's me, I get so mad, happy. It's the best. You're always welcome to Bob Newhart me. I guess this leads to my question. Do you believe in ghosties? Do you believe in ghosts?
Hard yes.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I don't know that they're ghosts in the way that they, like, it's not Bob Marley coming to teach me a lesson. Though, you know, if I have lessons to learn, someone come on over. Like,
now you've invited them and you're on the antihistamines, shit's gonna happen.
it's gonna be great. But do I think that that people in our lives or in other people's lives watch over us? Absolutely yes. Have I walked into old buildings and felt unreasonably chilly? Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And I sort of love it.
Yeah.
I love knowing that we might get an opportunity to hold on to the people that we need to for a little longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is exactly how I feel. And that, like, you can call it ghost, you can call it spiritual, you can call it, you know, I don't know, feelings, gut feelings or whatever, but I absolutely agree. And my mom and I were talking about it at Christmas, that we both have sensed my grandmother, who passed many years ago, and it's like, she hasn't come to visit Sid in a long time, but she was around, and we both sensed her and felt her. So I absolutely. And then I've been in buildings where was I? I was in, I don't know, some converted restaurant, and they were giving us a tour, and the guy just, like, flung open this basement door, and I was like, no, immediately, I was like, nope. I turned around, I left, I was like, that room is haunted. I did not look at it, I did not go in it. It was creepy, and, like, that's happened a couple of times in my adulthood. So I think, I don't know, I'm coming more and more to think and really sort of believe in whatever the root of the adage is of descended from witches. Like, with the prophetic dreams I have and the spirits and the, like, I'm just a little sensitive, not a lot sensitive. Not any way that I can monetize for the police.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not finding any dead bodies, not, you know, holding a seance, but, like, I can sense some shit. So it's good to know that we're kind of on the same side of that.
Yes. Yes.
What does, this is my lack of education, and you can be like, I don't really feel like talking about that. What does Judaism say about this kind of topic?
Well, now all of the much more religiously well-educated people are going to come at me.
Okay.
But
well, what's your interpretation?
I think there's an entire conversation about the soul. So one of the things that's traditional is that newborns aren't celebrated until they are born, and then they are handed to the oldest people first. And there is this sense that the oldest people give them a tiny bit of their soul, so that they sort of, like, collect the knowledge as they are being held by all of these elders. And then it is, and probably because in the way before times there were so many people being born and so many people dying, but there was a lot of the things that, like, oh, this new one is born, and so, like, a person might pass, and then it's because the balance had to be restored in some way, and so their being is transitioned over. It's not reincarnation in any sort of way, but there is a sense of, like, that this person gave a little bit of themselves to this new person in a magical way. I don't mean magical, I mean, like, in a spiritual way. That's more accurate. So there aren't ghosts necessarily. They're considered, everything is an act of God. And so, like, if you have a conversation with a past person, it is an act of God. It is a gift.
A mitzvah.
It's a gift, and you needed that gift for some reason. Everything has some sort of an arc and some sort of a reason.
That's awesome.
It's both reassuring and a little bit disconcerting,
Mm.
but I live in this space where though everything might have a reason, there are so many of us and so many reasons that it's really still impossible to predict. So it's not like manifest destiny where like you're meant to be on this path and you cannot alter the path.
Right.
It's more of a there are reasons
Mhm.
and seasons for things.
Sure.
And the hardest thing is to live fully in the moment without trying to figure out what the next season is. And I don't think I'm alone in having like the hardest time
Yeah, just accepting.
just enjoying this one without being constantly chasing the next one.
Right.
Which is actually segue back into our book discussion.
Please.
So the question, I'm gonna skip down a question into the way later in the episode, into the
Jump around.
Jump around. So one of the things that is on my like, was this compelling, or what the hot take for the story was, the thing that
you went after the break.
After the break.
Okay.
We'll come back out from there, I promise.
Okay, great.
So, but the thing that this book made me think about a lot is how do we measure a life? Like how do we signify the success of a life?
Okay.
And what I consider like a successful life, and how does that compare to the expectations I put on myself? And so the other Jewishy thing that we do, not everyone, but it is not a wake. It is a celebration of life. That's what it's called. It's called a celebration of life. And the intent for a lot of people is to be joyful, not mournful in that moment.
Yeah.
To really celebrate all of the achievements. And so in those celebrations, there's always a sense of like, this person touched so many lives. They've made everybody laugh. They've, they have all of these things that are not tangible, like love and respect and gratitude. But then we collectively, societally, we measure our success, i.e. our life, by job status, monetary things. And those are all, and I'm not saying like, put on a robe and wander through the forest and you will be great. It's not quite that. I don't mean like strip off all of that artifice, but I am saying that I need reminders that artifice, that all of the trappings of a modern capitalist life are not the goal. They are the tools, but they are not the goal.
An obituary always says so-and-so is survived by the people who love them, XYZ, ABC. And then eventually, sometimes it talks about, their career and their achievements and accomplishments, but it's always about the people in this person's life. And I think that is that feels like that is kind of what you're touching on. Yeah.
And I mean, but also like this person loved what they did.
Yeah.
Or this person had a hobby they were passionate about. Or this person
made other people
feel special. Woke up every morning and made their spouse their breakfast and found joy in the little things. Like how wonderful, how spectacular that the people are able to in the moment reflect on it and be like, this is a special moment. I think we spend a lot of time chasing the next moment and not really being present in the current one, and that has been a lot of the work that I'm doing in therapy. Is living in the current moment as opposed to constantly production managing the following moment. Constantly anticipating the needs of the next moment without ever pausing to be like, but this one is special. So it made me really reflective.
I did not it made me this book made me doubt our friendship. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I did not. We're finally getting to the crux of the fact that I did not like this book, and I didn't. I didn't get it. Let's just like that's going to be the umbrella term. I didn't get what it was trying to sell me.
Mm-hmm.
I was not beguiled by the snake oil sales of this book. It kept trying to tell me she's a hot mess, and I was like, she's literally doing everything and succeeding, and it's just she thinks she's a hot mess and she's not actually. It's like, oh, look at this charming town and this like creepy mortuary house, and I'm like, what is this Wednesday Addams or is this Stars Hollow? Like, the tone was all, the book itself was messy. The character was not messy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was also like obviously trying to be quirky, and the quirk never landed on me. And I'm highly receptive to quirk. I think being a quirk myself, or I'm just like, maybe it wasn't quirky enough. It didn't meet my quirk standards.
There you go. It did have a little bit of a 6 Feet Under feel to me.
Yeah.
More so than Stars Hollow or Wednesday.
Right.
I kept thinking a lot about 6 Feet Under.
That's probably a good comp for that.
Yeah, because like it's a little bit serious. It's a little bit zany and whimsical.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like familial love, which is what 6 Feet Under was ultimately about.
It just felt to me like the writer was trying so hard.
Well,
it never came easy. Is the story.
So this kind of goes to my actual next question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized that we need to work on our
you need a secondary coaster.
Coaster game.
Okay. Right.
What you all are not seeing is that there's one coaster but 2 drinks, and
I claim it every day.
Someone's been monopolizing the coaster. So my question was, I'm sort of clear on what her arc is.
Yeah.
She's trying, like, she needs to get out from under the weight of her past.
Yeah.
While also reconciling with her family and sort of finding where she fits into the world. But what is his arc?
Yeah, exactly.
What is his arc?
Don't be dead. Don't be rigid.
Don't die while being a complete stick in the mud.
Yes. Yeah. Relax.
Be more fun before you die.
Yeah. Like, just get a little ghosty with it.
That's a good t-shirt for this book, though. Get a little ghosty with it. Yeah, so I had a hard time figuring out what his arc was. Also, I was confused by his name.
You mean when they literally made the subtext the text?
Yes.
And they pointed out that his name is Ben, and he's been alive, and that, like, Ben is the past tense, and that he's dead now, and that, like, that's like the number one thing that drives me to 11, and she did it multiple times in this book, where she literally made the subtext the text. And if I'm not smart enough to notice that his name is Ben and he's dead, then I don't deserve to know.
Then it is the touche of this particular version.
It is the touche. And that was just another, like, thumbs down in the column for me.
Understood.
Like, there's almost no crawling back from never make the subtext the text.
I see.
So
there you go.
Yikes.
Copy that.
In my department, yikes. Like, is it a little bit Scooby-Doo because she had to, like, do all these things, and then there was this cop and he's like, you meddling kids. Like, I just never got the tone of this book, and I think that was...
I see. Well, I think, yeah, it was hard to find the high stakes moments because I feel like we needed more exposition.
Yeah.
For the high stakes to be as high as they were for her. So one of the other things that I found a little hard are the rules of this ghost world.
Sure.
This was I got to the scene and I was like, I need to stop everything and I need a diagram.
Yes.
And this has to do with the old woman and her ghost husband.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the middle of the book, Florence follows a trail of flowers from the florist to this woman that her father has been sending flowers to every year on a particular day. And she's sort of like, how dare he about it?
Right.
And she's thinking...
Right, it's a mistress.
It's a mistress.
Yeah.
And when she gets there, she discovers that it's this old woman and her husband used to send her flowers on their anniversary, and her dad took over doing that when the husband passed.
Mm-hmm.
And Florence also sees the ghost husband hanging around.
Yeah.
So far, everything makes sense because in this world, we understand that ghosts only hang around when there is some unfinished business and they are waiting to complete the business and move on.
Uh-huh.
And this is the reason her father never comes back, because he did not have unfinished business.
Correct.
He moved on right away. So here is where I have an issue with this entire world. At her father's funeral, or rather at the wake afterwards, she sees the ghost husband and the ghost wife. But if they don't have any business left, what are they still doing there?
Well, if his business was waiting for her, they were...
And her business was like...
saying thank you?
Yeah, sure.
But no, yes, it's not...
But then her dad could have, like, come back and said, good job, all y'all.
Right. Basically, it could have been time travel the way the rules were laid out.
Yeah. So it was like, no, if these two people are here at the wake, then the dad should be here at the wake. And that would have told, that would have been a really nice little, like,
that would have been a gorgeous moment.
Yeah, like, just a thumbs up to validate everything she's done, or whatever it is, or, like, one last dance with his wife.
Right.
Something that was, like, that felt like a miss to me.
Or, like, even if, while she's doing all of these tasks for him that he asked for his for his funeral, like, if he's just sort of right on the edge, like, he's always around the next corner, and so she's doing these things because she thinks he'll show up.
Well, at first she is looking for him.
Right.
And then she, like, resents
kind of
herself.
Gives up. But, like, if he is kind of just always, you always see his foot.
Right.
As he's going around the corner. Like, that would have been more interesting drive for Florence.
Yeah, I think really...
And just doing the thing.
I think really, you're right. The issue is that we sort of, from the get-go, know where it's headed. And there are no surprises. What we assume was going to happen is exactly what happens. And it's written in a beautiful way, and it happens in a pretty way, but it's not, for me, it wasn't surprising.
For me, it just lacked focus. Like, it told me too much what it wanted to be instead of showing me what it was. Or what it wanted to be. Yeah.
Should we, on this somber note, take a little break?
Yeah, and I'm going to make it a little cooler in here while we're on our break.
Excellent. We're going to take an intermission. When we come back, we will discuss our favorite moments from the book, and if this book made us want to get naked. And we're back.
Amazing. I've set it to Arctic.
Excellent. Polar bears are coming to visit.
We can share a blanket and cuddle. The viewers will love it. They're probably here for it. They probably would stand.
Excellent.
A
little cuddlies. So we are back, and we're talking about the Dead Romantics. It's on this side.
I was just going to feel you up for the audience. Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston.
Yes.
Or Poston.
No, I think the first way.
Is Poston like Boston?
You know what? No, I'm not sure, but that seems really aggressive.
That's how people describe me at all times, is just
really aggressive. So we're going to talk about your favorite moments in the book, having just talked about all of the moments in the book that didn't resonate.
Look, this was really hard for me to choose literally anything I liked about the book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. In the first scene when she meets Ben, she carries a cactus. I'm very interested in the cactus. I want to know more. What kind of cactus? Is it just like a little barrel cactus?
Yeah, I'm imagining one of those in just little pot.
Just little. So that's exactly how I pictured it. What stressed me out about that scene is she kept squeezing it tighter and tighter to her chest, and I was like, "Girl,
stabbies.
That's a cactus. You look at a cactus wrong and it pricks you." So, like, that's kind of where I started to go wrong, but it added tension to that scene. But what I think my favorite part of this book is in in an effort to make the town cutesy and kitsch, the mayor of the town was a dog named Fetch.
Yes.
Fetch the mayor.
Fetch the mayor.
Such a good boy.
Yes.
He came around and he visited all the businesses, like every day. They all had bowls out for him.
Yeah.
That's the legislature he passed, is that there was free water bowls outside all the shops. Like, different townspeople were kind of in charge of him, but he never had one owner.
Yes.
It was a little, like, transient dog mayor. I lived for Fetch, the golden retriever. The other thing is, there was an offhanded comment. So, in the beginning of the book, Florence has a flashback about being dumped by her prestigious? No, that's not the pretentious ex-boyfriend who is also a writer and who stole her story to write a book. And she met him at a book release where she also met Ben. And the book was called Dante's Motorbike, which is so much Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yes, it is.
Now, is that the literal? That's not the name of the literal book. It was something.
It's Kafka's motorbike.
Kafka's motorbike.
Yes, the one in Bridget Jones is Kafka's motorbike, but I do think that this is an Easter egg.
Yes, an intentional call out. So, I was like, okay. So, like, she got half a point back for that reference.
Now, the thing that was really interesting to me is, so the innkeeper.
Yes.
That keeps the B&B that she stays in, reads a book every time that Florence comes in, and we are told the name of the book every time.
Yeah.
And it is a real book every time.
Yeah.
And we've read some of them, or we've read at least one of them. Because there's a Christina Lauren that gets called out.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a Rebecca Weatherspoon, too.
I think you're right. And then there's a comic book that her boyfriend reads. There's a comic book somewhere.
So there's a couple of things that are real, like, nods to other authors. And what I really liked about it is that I would sometimes, like, I would stop and, like, go look it up.
Sure.
And, so the, like, uplifting the other voices in the room was kind of a nice, like, I don't know if it's going to date the book significantly as time goes by, because it's so of the current moment.
Right.
But I thought it was a very cute nod to other people.
I want to already apology parade. If you could please play the song.
Oh, yes.
I believe that character, the B&B owner, uses they, them pronouns.
Yes.
So there we go. I said she, her. I used she, her pronouns. So I'm just going to immediately apology parade.
Oh, I thought
on a
she as in Florence, not.
No.
Yes. They're definitely a they, them.
Correct. So I'm sorry, fictional character, that I misgendered you. Please forgive me. I really liked that moment, and I used to do a thing where if something I read referenced something else, I try to read that reference. I did a play that once referenced The Sound and the Fury, and that's where that stopped, because I have not read Faulkner. But I like that kind of thing, and you kind of go down a rabbit hole sometimes.
Yeah, and it just so happened that I agreed with a lot of the book choices that this person was making.
Yes.
And so I was like, yes, please tell me the next book you're reading, because I want to see if that's another one that I've already read.
Right. It made me like that character the most of the whole book.
That the B&B owners, both of them, are really interesting because they seem like a very unlikely couple.
They do, and then they're also like, we're gonna wear jeans and a t-shirt, and that's who we are, and I'm like,
yes.
I know that person. I am that person.
Okay. Does this book make you want to get naked?
No. I barely wanted to read it. I did it for you.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. This book is a slow burn.
Yeah, very slow.
And I thought you knew me, and I thought you understood me. So this is where the questioning our relationship came into play.
I understand.
Because you didn't warn me.
I did not warn you.
You might have warned me, and I've forgotten, and I'm choosing to forget.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I definitely just let you read a slow burn because I'm cruel like that.
Yeah. Everyone, she said it.
It's true.
It's now forever.
True. Well, I also didn't want to get naked, but partially because
you were sobbing.
Yes. Yes, partially because I was, having an existential crisis during the whole thing, but also because there's one scene that happens while he's in ghost form, and it's very Ghost the movie.
Okay.
Minus the spinning the wheel and the clay.
The pottery throwing.
No pottery throwing, buttons.
Oh,
the
yes,
buttons.
yes.
She's doing her buttons, or she's undoing her buttons,
Yeah.
and he's really undoing the buttons.
Ghosting over her.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it wasn't sexy. It was like, I was like, oh, what are the rules of this interaction?
Right.
And then when they are in real life, it was mostly a closed door, like, we're happy to be naked together, we're gonna shut the door. So, no.
So you slow burn me, and you close
door. It's a lot of not your speed, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, I really just came to see what made you cry so hard.
Yeah.
And I saw
Dead people. I sob dead people.
You sobbed dead people. You never talked about what your favorite compelling moment was.
True that. Well, so the call outs for all of the books is definitely on the list for me. And then the other thing that I put on there is, so there is a ritual that the father has of cleaning up after a wake while listening to a CD of goodbye songs. And that is such a great and heavy and terrible and cry-worthy moment, because they then play his CD's worth of goodbye songs at his wake.
Yeah.
And they dance to it, and they make it the brightest, loudest, funniest thing, because they're celebrating him and the way that he honored others. And it was lovely and terrible and also sob-worthy. Because that, how great is that memory?
Yeah.
So yes.
I'm gonna go off script here. What song would be a goodbye song for you?
What song would be a song I would want others to listen to as a goodbye of me, or what song is a song that means goodbye to me?
The latter. What would you have on this CD? Also, it's a CD. So CDs, while Sky is thinking, are circular plastic. It's kind of like a record, but digital. So the waveform of the song is imprinted by a laser. Are you looking up a song?
I'm looking up an artist, so I don't have to apology parade it later.
Okay, great. And it's burned.
But I'm ready to answer your question.
Oh, so sorry. Okay, great. Thank God, I was running out of facts about CDs.
Great.
It came in a jewel case. Why it was called a jewel case, no one knows.
No one knows.
Also plastic. We were really harming the planet. We were peak planet harming in the CD age.
It's true. It's true.
I don't think you were ready. So
I was. No, so I actually, there are two things that come to mind, and they're both Sarah McLachlan. And
oh, no!
but it's not the. It's not I Will Remember You.
All right. Okay.
It's actually Fumbling Towards Ecstasy.
Okay.
And there's so many of hers actually that I think are goodbye songs. And Better Than Chocolate. Your Love is Better Than Chocolate is absolutely a goodbye song for me. But
that's very interesting, because I feel like you have named those songs as favorite songs as well, or they're very strongly tied memory songs for you.
To both.
Okay.
I mean,
crazy.
One of those was a partner song for
Sure.
me and a partner, and so now that relationship has evolved into something else, that song is a goodbye song.
Sure.
It closes out that particular relationship. Wow. I mean, the entirety of the Sarah McLachlan catalog, maybe and maybe most of the Ani DeFranco catalog.
Your lesbian is showing.
True story.
For me, if I were in this book that is trying to be quirky and I had a CD of goodbye songs, it would absolutely be So Long, Farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, Good Night. And so literally the goodbye
So Ted
song.
Lasso.
Yes, absolutely.
The Ted Lasso version.
I will. I always.
Also, spoiler alert, Ted Lasso.
I mean.
At this point.
Whoops. Yes. So. Yeah, I mean, I would go literal. I can't think of I guess a sentimental. So I have songs on a playlist that are like the quintessential soundtrack for different periods of my life, or that are very sort of definitive me that I have an idea of playing them at my funeral, or my wake or whatever. So like this book made me like think about that. Think about what I wanted my funeral to be like, and revisit my living will and things like that. And so it made me think of this playlist, and so I totally listened to all of Everclear So Much for the Afterglow. Like that album is so quintessential 13-year-old Ford. Like I listened to it so loud. I'm very interested to see if my mom even like remembers or like was like, oh yikes. And then there is a what is that band called? It just jumped out of my head. Well, never mind. It doesn't matter. But there's
Excellent.
other things. So yeah. Oh, we got time. Okay. Question.
Yes.
Do you have an idea? Do you have a list of things you want at your funeral?
So
Do you have an idea of how you want it to happen?
yeah, so it's interesting because you said that you like looked through your living will, and I was like, I should probably write some stuff down.
My living will is the most like production managed thing. It's like first like my book collection. Finn gets to pick what he wants. My mom gets to pick what she wants, and then you, Sky, get to pick whatever you want. And then, well, I don't even remember. It's been a while.
Wow.
And then it's like, then it's free for all. Like I was like sort of a flow chart of who gets things if they want them or not.
Brilliant. Excellent. None of that is the case for me. So I'm torn. It's sort of there are two sides to this coin, and here's why. For me, funerals and wakes are for the living, not for the dead.
Sure.
Just like weddings are for the guests and not for the people getting married a lot of the time. And I think about this a lot because I went through this process of burying a parent, and I did things that made us feel at peace.
Sure.
As opposed to doing things that they would have chosen for themselves. And I know vehemently, aggressively, that I went not necessarily against their wishes, because that wasn't written down anywhere, but I chose to do certain things in a particular way that soothed us. Like it was much more religious than would have been willed to us, and it had a bit more ceremony to it than was willed to us. And then we got loud and messy and celebratory, and that part was absolutely what would have been written down. But having a cantor and having someone sing a prayer and having certain rituals performed soothed the ache that I was feeling, rather than honored the specific wishes of the person who passed. But I was in charge of looking out at all of these people that came to grieve, and it felt important to me to take care of their needs and to unburden them in a way that would help them, rather than in a way that this person would have wanted it.
Your experience is almost opposite of mine, because when my grandmother died, she had done it all already. Like, we just had to like put in the order for the headstone she picked out and submit the obituary that was already written. Well, did we have to write one? Like, she had taken care of it already, because she didn't want to leave it on us, and she didn't want us to have to pay for it and take care, like, self-sufficient human being, 100%. And so there wasn't a lot left for us to put our stamp on or put our needs on or fill in for us. And so we had to that left us finding ways to collect our own closure, to create our own closure. And that was fine too.
Yeah, I mean, both of my grandmothers took care of all of the arrangements prior.
Yeah.
And so the experience there and the process there was a lot more different in that I just showed up to be present rather than I showed up to organize.
Yeah.
And a person, myself, who deals with hard situations, grief included, by doing things.
Oh, yeah?
I had a much more difficult time processing what was happening with both of them because I didn't have anything to do. I had no mechanical task to have the time to break down this big thing I was feeling.
If I go first, I give you permission to crochet or knit a thing, and just throughout the whole whatever happens. If there's nothing for you to do, and I'm sure you're gonna find something to do because I've met you, you'll end up mixing or I don't know, creating projections somehow. Oh well, I mean, I am thinking about some sort of script because I'm also a neurotic control freak. Actually, I'm not, but that just came out. I give you permission to just knit a thing instead.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's gonna be itchy for all of afterlife.
Oh, you're putting it on me? Oh, it's mine? Yes, I'm dead. I don't care.
True.
I mean, natural wools, because maybe I'll be one of those compost human beings.
I can make that happen.
Grow a tree.
Yeah, no, I think that is such a powerful decision. Such a great thing.
Keep it cheap. Just throw me in the ground. Add some worms on top. Sprinkle me with worms.
That should be the company you start. Sprinkle me with worms.
LLC. LC.
There you go. Fabulous. I know this has been a little bit of a dark,
such a weird episode.
Dark adventure.
We talked half about the book and half about other things, and I like it.
And I think that, and I think that that's sort of how this is the bit that I liked about the book so much. I liked that it made me think of other things.
Yeah.
So this isn't the book to escape into.
Yes.
This is definitely a book to read
and
really look at all the things that are meaningful to you and why and should they be.
And in this reflection of the episode, I also like that we're reflecting about how the episode went while we're in the episode.
Oh, the meta! It's the meta. It's the most meta.
And I mean, I like that. It was also just I got to learn some shit about you, and I've known you forever. So that's
there you go. Yeah, there's always new stuff. You can always uncover new hidden depths.
When you uncover my body covered in worms. That's the goal. Hashtag goal covered in worms.
And on that note,
sprinkle me with worms.
Thank you for joining us for an episode of Booklandia.
For more Booklandia, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at l.skyford, Twitter at SkyfordL, and hit up our blog, lskyford.com.
We love you to the moon and back, so don't forget to rate and subscribe.
Our eternal thanks for the audio editing and support provided by Finnegan Murphy, who you can find on Twitter at Finnegan1, that's FIONNEGAN, numeral 1, and sometimes Sky herself.